I am so grateful to get the chance to share with you the exciting science of happiness and how we can all use it to fuel success in our own lives and in the lives of the people we come into contact with. As you heard in my bio, two words you don't often hear in the same sentence: news and happiness. As a matter of fact, I was recently at a talk in New York for Samsung, and I get to LaGuardia, and by the way, I love New York. I love everything about it. I love the buildings, the energy of the city, the yellow cabs. And so when I get to LaGuardia and I jump in the back of a cab and I see the television screen with the news of the day, I can't wait to hear what's going on there. And this is what I hear. Topping today's news, 4 people were stabbed on the subway. There's been an outbreak of disease-carrying rats in Lower Manhattan, and rents are on the rise again across the city. Awesome. So by the time I get to my talk in Midtown, I'm thinking, I don't know, am I going to get mugged by a rat on the subway with Ebola who can't even afford an apartment? What is going on here? But it's not just New York, right? How many of you have at least slowed down watching your local news? Show of hands. Yeah. Okay, so I think what you're intuiting is that negative messages can have a negative effect on our energy, our stress, and our happiness. And you know what? You're right. In a study I just completed with Arianna Huffington and researcher Sean Achor, we found that watching just 3 minutes of negative news in the morning can lead to a 27% higher likelihood of reporting your day as unhappy 6 to 8 hours later. What that means is that we carry with us through the course of our day that negative mood and mindset as we go through our business challenges, as we spend time with our families. So at CBS News, I got tired of telling negative news stories. And more importantly, I wanted to understand, how can we deliver negative news on TV and in our own lives in a way that empowers people and helps move them forward in a positive direction? So I left. My friends thought I was completely insane, leaving a job I'd worked so hard for. And I went to study positive psychology at the University of Pennsylvania, the science of happiness and how it influences business and educational outcomes. The thing is, though, while there, I had this epiphany, which was that we are all broadcasters, all of us. As parents, as teachers, as leaders, as friends, we're constantly broadcasting information to other people. And the messages that we choose to broadcast not only influence how other people experience the world, but they translate into an influence on every single business and educational outcome that we know how to track. And these are small messages. Sometimes we transmit them unconsciously. I'm stressed. I'm tired. Oh, that business challenge, you're going to have to figure that one out on your own. I don't deserve to be here. Versus, we're in this together. We will overcome this. We will figure out a solution. I'm so grateful to be here. Small changes, small choices. And what we see is that when we make those small changes to the way we communicate with other people, we can raise productive energy by as much as 31%, lower the negative effects of stress, like headaches, backaches, and fatigue, by 23%, raise our chances of promotion by as much as 40%. These are all research studies that we don't hear about on the news, but that are so important to how we live our lives. So I'm so excited to share with you them today. And most importantly, I want to share with you the strategies that I've distilled from my time as a national news broadcaster, now as a positive psychology researcher. These are strategies that can help you inoculate your brain against stress and negativity, stay positive amidst negativity, and also empower other people to have that positive, activated, empowered mindset that can help transform culture and help us meet our business and educational goals in a really powerful way. So the power lead is taken from my days in media. Normally, what do you hear? If it bleeds, it leads, right? And so what do we see on the newscast? The most sensational negative story at the top. What's your top story? We want to take the opposite approach, right? So we want to start off with something positive and optimistic. The best power lead I ever saw was actually at that computer job that I had right out of college. I don't know if you all felt this, but your first job, especially your first job out of college, but it was like, I had this thought, like, when are they going to figure out that I'm not meant to be here? Like, why did they hire me? And then add insult to injury, I had this boss named Ellen, and Ellen was the nicest woman, but she would stalk the cubicles every 4 or 5 days. I would see her, and she would ask me, she would say to me, "What's one amazing thing that you've done here at work since last time I saw you?" I showed up? Does that count? Oh. My cortisol levels were like, ugh. So I didn't know what to say. And so for the first few, and I didn't know what to say for the first few months. And so she would offer up something positive and meaningful, right? "I saw you stay late to help Darren. That was good. I saw you had a small idea at the meeting and we built upon it and we're gonna try it out. Strong work. I saw that you wrote a couple lines of code and it made it into the next project build. Good, very good." It was brilliant because what she was doing was, besides inducing stress in me, she was showing me moments in which my behavior mattered at that organization. She was asking me to scan my day for meaningful moments in which I contributed to the collective. And ultimately, she was building higher levels of work optimism because as we remember, it's not only the expectation of good things to happen, but it's a belief that your behavior matters. So after a couple months, then I would have cataloged everything. I'd see her coming down the hallway and I would have something ready to offer up. Still stressful, but much better. But power leads don't have to be that complicated. I mean, they can be something as easy as just meaningfully answering when someone says, "How are you? How are you?" When I was working the overnights at CBS, this was mine. "Oh, I'm so tired, right? Or if I'm stressed. Let me tell you about X, Y, and Z going on here, right? What is our top story? That's the perfect moment to offer up that positive top story. It doesn't have to be a big thing. It can be, "I'm doing great. I had breakfast with my son this morning and he was being so funny." Small, meaningful, lets people have a window into our world and deepens that social connection. And it can transform the trajectory of our conversations because think about it. If you ask somebody, "How are you?" and they start off with something negative, "Oh my gosh, did you hear what the boss did? Can you believe this? Oh, I'm so stressed, I'm so tired." You can't anymore say, "Well, sucks for you. Let me tell you something good going on in my life," right? There are only two options there. It's either you say, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and you meet them with compassion, or you play misery poker with them where you offer up something negative in your own life. Either way doesn't work. Right? So this is not about ignoring the negative. If we have a challenge going on in our lives, it's okay to obviously come to the people that we care about and care about us with those challenges. But the question is, what's our regular broadcast and how can we turn up the dial on being a positive broadcaster? If we don't think these little words mean big, what does this list make you think of? Bingo, wrinkle, Florida, wise, gray. Retirement, yes. Yes, elderly. So get this. First of all, you guys, smart. 20-year-old college students, not as smart. There was a study done with these 20-year-old college students. One group was asked to look at these words and play word games with them for 5 minutes. The other group was asked to play word games with neutral words like dog, cat, and house. After 5 minutes, each of the participants were asked one by one to walk down the hallway and then walk to the other room where part 2 of the experiment was going to happen. But here's the crazy thing. Guess where part 2 of the experiment actually happened? In that hallway. And the students that had just played around with these words for 5 minutes actually walked slightly slower and more hunched over than the students in neutral. These are subtle primes of age. So at our organizations, we don't necessarily want to prime people for walkers. So what kinds of words can we use? A really interesting study that I just came across from Stanford showed that if you just insert the word together into a set of instructions, so in the meaning of, "Oh, we're going to work on this project together," that can actually fuel people to work 48% longer and have higher levels of energy after the project is all done. They feel higher levels of team cohesiveness, and they feel like they made a more positive contribution just by inserting the word together. Little words mean very big.